Hello everybody, welcome back to week number 2 of November's online coffee and card class. Thank you so much for joining me today. And whether you're watching on the Tuesday when it publishes or later on, do let me know where you're watching from. It's always nice to see how far my videos reach. If you're new here today, don't forget to hit subscribe before you leave and you'll be notified of future videos that I put through, that I publish. For this week's class, I am going to show you how to make this card design here. We've got a trio of Christmas trees and I'm showing you how to add a little bit of texture to your card with some of the texture stamps from the Peaceful Evergreens stamp set. If you're following along at home with one of your kits, one of my kits, in your kit you will have, I'll just show you what you will have. You will have a card base cut from Mossy Meadow cardstock. You will have a layer of basic white for your inner piece. And then you have a layer of Mossy Meadow for the outside. You will also have a banner, a long banner. This is cut from the Peaceful Seasons dies, which complement this set really, really well. They're from the same suite. You will also have a skeleton of a tree. I think it looks like a skeleton of the tree. And then you will also have some of this baker's twine. This is Natural Tones linen thread. It comes in a trio pack and yours won't be on a roll, yours will be in with your kit. I've also grabbed some basic white card from the kit for my stamping. Okay, so let's make a little start. I'm going to pop the card in shot over here so we can all see what it looks like, and we can build our card ever so slightly. We can do the bones of our card. So the inner bit, the inner layer can be stuck in. That's going to go in flat. So I'm just using some multi-purpose liquid glue. I saw earlier this week, which isn't the same week as this is published, someone called it green glue and it's just stayed with me. So if you hear me call it green glue, this is what I'm talking about. Okay. So that's the card started. And then we need to actually work on this piece here. So this is our card front layer. And you'll notice on my card, if I hold this up, you'll be able to see it. The bottom is lighter than the top. And usually I would use a blending brush to create that design. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use this image here. Okay, so I'm stamping with Mossy Meadow, which is the same colour as our card. And I'm going to... And this is what I tend to call stamping without thinking. And we don't need to think about it. If we overthink it, you're just going to overcomplicate it. And the important thing is we just need to get the ink onto the cardstock. So what I'm going to do is ink my stamp and then just keep inking, stamping onto the card. And what you'll notice is the card starts to get darker at the bottom. And you get almost an ombre effect with this, and I just love it. I love the texture that you get into the background. Look at that. And it looks like a woodland forest. It looks like the floor of a woodland forest. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. And it was really simple. It was really quick. I haven't used a tremendous amount of ink from my ink pad. My hands are clean for a change. And I just think it looks really, really effective. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to stick that on my card front and that's it done. It's super quick. I don't then end up with a blending brush that's full of ink that I can't get out. And it's a great use of that texture stamp. So enjoy that. Use it on as many things as you can. So I'm going to stick this down onto the front of my card, making sure the dark bit is at the bottom. Well, before I do that, you'll also notice on my card, this top left corner is scrunched. Now, I know so many of you don't like this technique, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull the corner down and curl it a little bit. And then you'll start to see that the card is separating. The card is made up of a couple of layers of cardstock. So as it separates, I'm just going to tear it. And you get a really nice sort of distressed look. How cool is that? I think it's really fun. So that's my card base. Now, whilst I'm here, I'm going to do a little bit more stamping. So the sentiment I've chosen to use on this says a season of wonder and happiness. And that comes from the Peaceful Season stamp set. Okay, now it's not on a block next to me. It is on a block next to me. I'm lying to you. Now I'm just going to give that a little clean, because I was really naughty the other day and I used it without cleaning it before I put it low. And I've used red ink, and I don't really want to dip red ink into my green ink pads. I'm just going to use my stamp scrub here for this. Okay, that's lovely and clean now. Just what I need. So, A Season of Wonder and Happiness, and that's being stamped with crumb cake. If you watched last week's video, you would have seen that I said all the cards are tones of green and green and brown, and I've used Mossy Meadow and crumb cake for those colours. Okay, Season of Wonder and Happiness, like that. So that's my banner done. So I can put all my pieces for my card to one side, and here's where we need to create some Christmas trees. So I want to stamp 3 Christmas trees, and I'm using the middle stamp, and it was what I would call the skinny tree, this tall skinny tree. Well, at least I think that's what I've used. Let me just check. No, I haven't. I've lied to you. I've used one tall skinny tree. Have I not? Hang on. No, I haven't. I've used the baby tree. So I'm really sorry. I have lied to you. So I'm using the baby tree, and I'm going to stamp 3 of those, all in Mossy Meadow. 1, 2, 3. Okay, which means I've got the wrong die out of the case. So let's go and get my die. So here's my die. So I'm just going to pop that on to each one of my trees, and I'm going to run that through my die machine, which is on my trolley behind me. So do bear with me a moment while I do that. Okay, all done. So here we have 1, 2, 3 trees, all cut with the die. And then what I need to do is I need to bring my card in, and I'm going to actually stick 2 of these trees down flat. Okay. That one's got a bit of a dodgy edge, so that's the one I'm going to use underneath. And I'm popping these on so that they sit just under the line of my background stamping. There we go. Now with this tree, before I stick it down, in your kits you have this die, what I would call I keep calling it a skeleton tree, but it isn't. But you may now call it that. That's fine, I'll let you. So what I have here is I have the tree die, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put a little bit of glue in the sort of largest areas, and then I'm going to stick that over the top of my image. And actually it lines up pretty well. I'm just going to hold it in place while it sticks. it lines up really, really nicely. So you kind of have a bit of a detailed tree. And then this one is going to get stuck down onto a pad so that it's raised in the centre of that card. So that's our little trio of trees. I'm just going to move my grid paper. And then now we can think about adding the sentiment. So the sentiment is a banner. And that I'm going to pop on as well. And I'm going to use some more of this little edge area. I love using the edges of dimensionals. I think it's just a nice finishing of all of the pieces that you get. So that's going to get stuck down about there. I want it to cover just the base of those trees. And there we go. So that looks really, really nice like that. I love that. But what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to add some of this paper's twine now. So I'm doubling it over. You will need one more bow, but you'll only need a single layer of bow. So I've doubled mine over and I'm trimming it so that I have two pieces that are the same length. Okay. And then I'm going to feed that through this little edge area. And then I'm going to tie this. So this is a nice little way to add some ribbon or some twine to your cards using these dies. Those tails are longer than those, so I'm going to trim them down so that they match. They're still a bit long. 2 seconds. There we go. And then all I've got left to do is to pop on some of these little gems. Still can't remember what they're called. Let me have a look. They are earth tones. Of course they are. And I'm just putting 2 on this time. So that is card number 2. All made, all put together. I hope you enjoyed making it and following along. As I mentioned at the start, if you don't follow me already, but you like what you see and you'd like to see more, do hit subscribe. You'll be notified of future tutorials. I put one up every Tuesday, which is my weekly coffee and card class. The idea is you make a coffee and make a card, and you have a little bit of you time. So that's it. Have a great week, and I will look forward to seeing you all again next week at 2 o'clock. At 1 o'clock. No, at midday. Oh dear. At midday on Tuesday. Thanks so much for watching. Bye for now.